Hello everyone, welcome back to another Pokemon the series, the beginning episode talks, and finally we're out of Filler Central, boys, for a little bit. For a couple of episodes, this one and the next one if I remember correctly, and then we're back in Filler Saga until we get to much later. But anyway, we are out of it finally because we've made it. We made it to the island, Navel Island, that being the island of the second gym. And Ash is ready to get that Sea Ruby badge. However, no one is on the island. And then a guy in a boat appears, and his name is Danny, who flirts with Misty, I guess. And maybe they're both challengers. That's at least the guessing game that is happening right now until we get the reveal later on, which is a pretty obvious reveal. But whatever, you know what, I won't spoil it yet. So then we get to the gym, and apparently the challengers have to climb the mountain without the help of Pokemon, and anyone who's going to watch is allowed to use the cable car. So Ash and Danny start to climb. They get up high. Ash gets a little bit annoyed by Misty being in love with Danny, so then he almost falls. He barely holds on, ready to use Bulbasaur. Then Danny's like, wait! So he doesn't, and then afterwards they continue their climb upwards, but they're not at the top yet. They're taking a little bit of a break, and in this break, Team Rocket attacks with a suction cup attached to like a fishing rod in order to get Pikachu, but then Danny just unplugs Pikachu, and then afterwards Meowth throws the thing again, but then Danny holds up a rock, so Team Rocket get hit by a rock, and then afterwards they fly up high. We see some snow, we see some geysers, a little tease of the gym, and then afterwards they get blown away. But that was actually pretty funny, I will say that. The fact he just holds up a rock and just they just catch that rock. I thought that was funny. Anyway, we continue on the climb until we get to the snowy area, at which point Ash wraps Pikachu in his jacket, and then afterwards we make it to the top, and we're finally here. And then we get the big reveal. Danny is the gym leader, and Misty and Tracy are like, yeah, I knew that. And Ash is like, what? And I'm like, yeah, okay, he's the idiot. Anyway, what's this gym going to be? What's the speciality of this gym? Well, the speciality is the fact that we have 3 rounds, win 2 out of the 3, and the badge is yours. Round 1 is a simple one. As you may have already seen, we got some geysers around here. Freeze them. Freeze one geyser. Whoever freezes the first geyser as fastest wins the round. So obviously, End sends out his Lapras, which is very lucky once again that he caught that thing. What if he hadn't caught that one? Like, how would he have won the first badge and this one? Like, both badges, he required Lapras. But anyway, then he sends out his Nidoqueen, and they start blasting Ice Beam, and Nidoqueen wins. Because, of course, Ash can't win 2 out of the 3 rounds, because then what are we gonna do for round 3? But then, we have round 2. And round 2 is the fact that from the big icicle that we now have, we must sculpt a sled. And we can only use 3 Pokemon. So Danny sends out his his Scyther and his Machoke to help Nidoqueen in order to be able to sculpt that bad boy. And Ash is like, I'm gonna use Pikachu, Bulbasaur, and Charizard? Nice to see you again, my friend. But why that one of all Pokemon? Anyway, yes. So Pikachu and Bulbasaur are not having that good of a time necessarily. Ash begs Charizard to help, and Charizard doesn't want to do it, but then he starts blasting fire everywhere, and bam, sled's done. He got that sled done in seconds, dude. But there you go, he has a sled done, so now, because of the fact that it's 1-1, we can get to the final round, which is slide down the mountain, and whoever finishes first wins the badge. Simple as that. So, Ash has Pikachu, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur in his sled, and Danny has Scyther, Electrode, and Geodude in his sled. So they go downstairs, and it's not necessarily going well. Well, Danny is actually going perfectly. He's going in a straight line, ready to win. Ash decides we're gonna be basically having a little crossover with Beyblade of all things, and just start spinning downstairs. However, then Danny hits a hole, which was not normal. So Ash stops and helps him out. Then they take Pikachu, but then afterwards, Ash and Danny and Pokemon throw a bunch of snowballs and eventually an Electrode, which causes Team Rocket to leave. So now we can continue the race. And Ash doesn't take the turn that he's supposed to take, so he goes through the woods, maybe a shortcut, maybe not, who's to say. And then he only has like pieces of a sled left because that thing is just breaking down, and Ash slides down and wins it by going the wrong way technically. But he won. He got down the mountain the first, so he has the badge. The second badge is his, and I loved it. I love this episode. So now obviously it's onwards to the next badge, and that's the end of the episode. There you go. Now I had to finish that one up. Anyway, I love this gym battle. Look, battle, quote unquote battle. Look, the thing is that what I found special about the Orange Islands was the fact that there weren't really any battles, at least up to this point. It's just after this, we get nothing but battles. Yes, there's a gimmick attached to it, but it's just battles. I like the creativity of the first 2 gyms compared to the later 2 gyms. But this one was absolutely my favorite. The fact that they have to do the geyser, but also climb the mountain, so technically 4. But anyway, freeze the geyser, make a sled, and then go down in the way that Ash actually wins it. I thought that was fun, so I thought this was a great episode. So let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comment section down below. And with that being said, thank you all so very much for watching it, and do hope you guys have enjoyed. And if you did, please like button, subscribe if you're new with us already, turn on notifications, and don't forget to check out the Let's Play channel, link in the description and at the end of the video. And next time, we got the surfing fat man. Bye!